is Top Accolade Global News Update. I am Soibifa Jakarich. Thousands of pro-Palestinian protesters rallied outside the White House, accusing President Joe Biden of not enforcing a red line to keep Israel from harming civilians in Gaza, a harbinger of continued anger on the left with U.S. policy towards Israel. In a general election year, protesters unveiled a massive red banner and wore red to symbolize the red line they say Israel is breaching as it continues its war against Hamas in the Gaza Strip. Protesters also defaced monuments in the area with pro-Palestinian graffiti. The day of the protest, Israel conducted a special operation that freed 4 hostages still held by Hamas, in which dozens of Palestinians were killed. Biden last month suspended the delivery of some large bombs to Israel as it prepared to enter the city of Rafah, an operation Biden had opposed and said he would consider further suspensions in defense assistance as the operation proceeded. The president had said previously he would suspend weapons delivery if Israel crossed the red line, but what that would constitute has never been clear. His officials have since then said that Israel's conduct did not breach standards to the degree that would require further U.S. action. The protest, which drew people from around the world, was a sign that pro-Palestinian activism could continue unabated as the country heads into elections. The Biden campaign has struggled to walk a line between pro-Israeli and pro-Palestinian Democrats as the election gear up, with both sides saying that he stands to lose votes in a close rematch with former President Donald Trump if constituents are disaffected. Biden sought a middle ground as protests engulfed university campuses in recent months. The Democratic National Committee is negotiating with federal and Chicago authorities and with protest groups to set parameters for pro-Palestinian rallies when the party's convention takes place in the city in August. President Bola Tinubu has approved the appointment of Nkiruka Madukwe as the Director General Chief Executive Officer of the National Council on Climate Change (NCCC) in interim capacity, pending the confirmation of her appointment by the NCCC Supervisory Council. A press release by Chief Ajuri Ngalale, Special Advisor to the President, Media and Publicity, disclosed this. He said the President also approved that Dr. Madukwe, 39, who holds a Bachelor of Law degree, a master's degree in environmental law and policy from the University of Dundee, UK, and a doctorate degree in law from the University of Hull, UK, is to serve as the co-chairperson of the Intergovernmental Committee on National Carbon Market Activation Plan (NCMAP). Dr. Madukwe has over 15 years of national and international experience in climate policy development and project implementation. She previously served as Nigerian National Coordinator, Climate Parliament. Climate Parliament is an international multi-partisan network of legislators working worldwide to help solve the climate crisis and accelerate the transition to renewable energy. He said the President further approved the appointment of Mr. Ibrahim Abdullahi Shileng, 40, as the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Climate Finance and Stakeholder Engagement, Office of the President. He is seconded to the National Council on Climate Change (NCCC) Secretariat, where he will handle all matters related on climate finance and stakeholder/donor relations. The President has also approved the appointment of Mr. Olamide Fagbuji, 44, as the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Climate Technology and Operations, Office of the President. He is seconded to the National Council on Climate Change (NCCC) Secretariat, where he will oversee digitalization of a new open procurement process and cross-departmental procedural optimization initiative. Emilia Clarke has described how she thought she might die while filming Game of Thrones after sustaining a brain injury. The 37-year-old actress said that after a person survives such a trauma, their workplace insecurities quadruple overnight. She said she thought she was going to be sacked from her starring role in the hit fantasy series because she was scared that show bosses would think she was not capable of doing her job. Emilia has previously spoken out about how she thought she was going to die when she had a brain bleed did while working out in a North London gym in 2011. She has said she did not want to go public about her brain injury and largely kept it a secret from her Game of Thrones colleague. Medics discovered a second brain hemorrhage in 2013 while she was still acting as Daenerys Targaryen on the hit series. In a new interview with A Big Issue, she has discussed the difficulties in returning to work after a brain injury. When you have a brain injury, because it alters your sense of self on such a dramatic level, all the insecurities you have going into the workplace quadruple overnight, she said. After recovering from her injuries, the star and her mother, Jenny, set up a charity to help people with brain injuries. The mother and daughter duo were made MBEs earlier this year for their work setting up the charity Same You. Asked about how she felt fragile, sensitive and scared after her brain injury, and was shocked to find out how understaffed rehabilitation services are, with rehab becoming a key focus for the charity. Same You has now partnered with The Big Issue to help brain injury survivors return to work with the support of Big Issue recruits job coaches. A new survey of 327 brain injury survivors found that of 489 survivors who have returned to work post-injury, 37% said they did not feel ready to return to their jobs. The claim, the biggest collective action over launched by UK retailers, is being brought by the British International Retailers Association on behalf of retailers at the Competition Appeal Tribunal in London. It asserts that between October 2015 and the present date, Amazon used data belonging to UK retailers on the company's marketplace data that is non-public and belongs solely and specifically to the retailers. In combination with manipulation, the Amazon buy box to engage in a product entry strategy that resulted in sales revenue and profits being diverted from these retailers to Amazon. This information helps Amazon decide whether to enter a new product segment based on its earnings and sales potential, which elements of the products to copy, how to price an item, and which consumers to target. According to the Bureau, the retailers, many of whom are small independent UK businesses, were unaware that Amazon was illegally using their data to benefit its own retail operation. Amazon was already charging them a non-negotiable 30% commission on every product sold on the site. It is the largest collective claim to be filed under the Competition Act 1998 on behalf of UK retailers. The act was amended in 2015 to enable a collective damages claim to be brought on behalf of a class of people who have suffered loss. Amazon has long challenged the suggestion that when it makes and sells its own products, it misuses the information it collects from the marketplace third-party retailers. It has similarly challenged that it uses the buy box prevents its own retail operations. The filing of a collective action against Amazon will allow UK retailers to access justice as a group and receive compensation for the losses they have incurred as a result of Amazon's unlawful conduct. Based on expert analysis of the evidence, the total damage caused to UK retailers is estimated to be in the region of 1.1 billion euros, including interest. Andrew, under the rules laid down in the Competition Act 1998, all UK retailers who have lost out and are now domiciled in the UK will automatically become part of the claimant class unless they explicitly opt out. Those not currently domiciled in the UK but who sold on the UK marketplace will have the opportunity to opt in and get the benefits of the proposed claim. A technology provider, Synovis, had system hacked affecting blood transfusion supplies. The cyber attack had a major impact on pathology services, particularly blood transfusions, as hospitals were unable to match patients' blood as quickly as they previously could. NHS Blood and Transplant is now urgently calling for all O positive and O negative donors to book appointments in one of London's 25 NHS donor centres. O negative is known as the universal donor blood type, as it can be given to everyone, so it's used in emergencies. Just 8% of the population is type O negative. O positive is the most common blood type. 35% of donors have it, and it can be given to anybody with a positive blood type. Dr. Gail Mifflin, NHS Blood and Transplant Chief Medical Officer, said to support London hospitals to carry out more surgeries and to provide the best care we can for all patients, we need more O negative and O positive donors than usual. Please book an urgent appointment to give blood at one of our 25 town. Professor Stephanie Powys, medical director for NHS England, said NHS staff are continuing to go above and beyond to minimize the significant disruption to patients following the ransomware cyber attack on Synovis earlier this week. That is the size of top accolade global news updates. You can follow us on our social media platforms as displayed on your screen. Happy Monday.